We found out about the ongoing case in Singapore about them, and that it was described as the largest money laundering case.
The big boss never to be seen again.
Yo, what's up guys? This is Dia, Do Not Know Everything, and today we're talking about something that shocked the Philippines. Now let me ask you, how does someone nobody knows, someone with no local roots, suddenly appear on the ballot and win as a mayor? Not a celebrity, not a political dynasty kid, not even a barangay official with years of experience. Just mayor. And then, only after a year or two, it turns out she's been hiding completely different identity linked to massive exploitation and human trafficking operation. This is Alice Guo's story, and we're going to break it all down. Who she really is, how she won power, the raids and investigations, her POGO links, court rulings, and life imprisonment, and what Filipinos think about this. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and stick around until the end because you're going to want to hear this full story. Welcome back to my channel.
Po ay isang Filipino. Mahal ko po ang sarili ko pong bayan, sarili ko pong bansa.
Alice Guo presented herself as Alice Lil Guo, claiming she was born in Bamban, Tarlac, grew up locally, and was Filipino. She said she had a quiet, homeschooled childhood. But here's where things get weird. During Senate hearings, she was asked basic questions. What school did you attend? Who were your classmates? Who were your teachers? And her answers were vague, inconsistent, and evasive.
At saan pala po kayo ipinanganak? Sa ospital ba? Sa bahay ba? Sa lying-in clinic ba?
Your Honor, ang sinabi po sa akin sa bahay po.
Sa bahay. Saan po yung bahay ninyo nung ipinanganak kayo?
Hindi ko na po, Your Honor, hindi ko na po alam. Opo.
Still, out of more than curiosity, saan po kayo nagtapos ng elementary?
Homeschool po ako, Your Honor. Kasi salo po kami ng farm.
So, saang homeschool provider naka-connect yung teacher ninyo?
Your Honor, hindi ko na po maalala po yung pangalan po.
As a real Filipino, these questions are super daling sagutin. Very easy. I still know which school I went to. I remember my classmates, who I played with, my teachers. Maybe not the exact names, but come on. I remember them because it happened to me. In short, I wasn't lying. She does speak Tagalog fluently. But now here's the problem. Language can be learned, but memory of your own childhood, that's hard to fake. And that's exactly where the first cracks in her history appeared. And later on, forensic investigations revealed her fingerprints match Guo Huaping, a Chinese national. And the courts confirmed Alice Guo and Guo Huaping were the same person.
The claim of Bamban Tarlac Mayor Alice Guo that she's a Filipino shattered after the National Bureau of Investigation confirmed that her fingerprint is the same as Chinese national Guo Huaping.
Based on government records, Guo Huaping is a Chinese national who entered the Philippines on January 12, 2003 when she was 13 years old.
Our meeting number...
Mayor Alice Guo was indeed a Chinese little girl who entered the Philippines. So her entire identity and history was completely fabricated.
This was identity fraud, full stop. And another red flag is her family background. They rarely spoke about parents, no consistent civil records, yet had huge financial resources. So investigators tied her to multiple companies like real estate firms,
The biggest question many Filipinos had at the time, was it really her? So young, so innocent looking, could be capable of hid so many crime behind her facade.
Evidence of her wealth started coming in, about her luxury cars, her jewelry, even the clothes that she wore came into scrutiny. We wanted to dig deeper into how she was able to amass so much wealth. So we requested the incorporation documents of Alice Guo's various companies. In one of those companies, Baofu, listed incorporators are the names Sang Ruijin and Lin Baoyin. And to our great surprise, when we Googled the names, we found out about the ongoing case in Singapore about them, and that it was described as the largest money laundering case in Singapore.
All the criminals convicted for that case, they were all hailed from Fujian, China, just like Alice Guo.
Here's what it gets insane. She registered as a voter in 2021, just a year before running by 2022. She filed her certificate of candidacy and became mayor of Bamban. Imagine living in Bamban your whole life. You know the local, the leaders, the neighbors, the politicians, and then someone completely unknown appears on the ballot. You've never seen her, never heard of her, and she wins? So the residents later said, "We never heard of her before she announced she was running. We didn't even know she lived here." So how? How did this happen? How does this happen? Money and influence. Campaign visibility bought posters, flyers, barangay events, even small incentives. Political machinery rented the barangay captains, the local influencers, the party support. Voter education gaps. The people rely on appearances, but not investigation. So in other words, someone unknown with no roots can win. Scary? Yeah. But it's fact. So in March 2024, this is the date that changed everything for Alice Guo. It started when a foreign worker escaped from a massive compound in Bamban. This wasn't your typical small apartment. This was a large, fortified property, almost like a mini factory for labor exploitation.
We got a phone call by a woman. She told us that she and a number of Filipinos were forced to operate love scams in Myanmar. That was just the start, because it became clear to us that these operations were across the region. It was a pattern. It was a self-contained, very modern group of buildings in the middle of nowhere. And then there would be a building that would be used as dormitory and another building that would be their workplace. It would have karaoke and a number of small food outlets. And then while we were investigating that, it came to our attention that the POGOs here were also being used as scam compounds.
就是简说，就是他们说是造梦嘛，然后10点上班，然后可能业绩不达标或者怎么样的话，我们必须要加班，可能加班到1点多2点，可能就是业绩不达标啊或者怎么样的，有时候会有惩罚，反正那时候就被揍了一顿嘛。然后就继续说，然后就是说这次算轻的，然后可能越久还是没业绩的话，可能就是不同刑法。
I was trying to find a legal avenue to be able to get into the compound. Then our Vietnamese national was able to escape from Bamban.
Because they treat me so bad and I don't want to be a scammer. They beat me. They use hand and electric shock. High voltage. I climb on the top of the wall and I jump out the wall and I running for the second one and I jump the river and keep running.
He was looking for a chance to escape. But then a security guard noticed that he was looking around, and the guard pointed a gun at him. At that point, he found an opening and he jumped and landed on an adjacent farm. The farm owner took shelter of him. Later, the Vietnamese victim was taken to the local police station to sign a statement that he wouldn't complain against the company, which he refused.
That was purely hogwash. So they were trying to cover up the crimes happening inside. I went to Bamban to secure that Vietnamese national. They tried to take him from me. Fortunately enough, I had enough officers to be able to bring him to Manila.
因为我过去的时候，因为暂时是没办法嘛，然后身上的手机、什么联系方式啊，然后贵重物品都被公司收走了。也是有培训了差不多1个星期左右，然后那时候就拿了工作机，然后再想办法自救嘛。因为如果那时候就抱着那种心态，反正就是怎么样都是死，是吧？然后就试一下嘛，那时候用了WhatsApp嘛，然后联系了马来西亚家人，然后给我找了渠道给我联系上了那个马来西亚大使馆。
I got a call from the police attaché of Malaysia. He informed me of Dylan, who was being held against his will inside Bamban. So now I had 2 embassies who were seeking my assistance.
So March 2024, this is the day that changed everything for Ali's school. It started when a foreign worker escaped from a massive compound in Bamban. The worker reported harsh treatment, confiscated passports, and forced work schedules. And authorities swooped in and conducted a full raid, and what they found was shocking.
I was able to apply for a search warrant. I got the warrant at 5:20 p.m. on March 12.
来这很多员工很多车啊，还有警车，你没看到吗？我们门口有警车啊。
The big boss was seated here, so he walked all the way here. He viewed the CCTV of what was happening outside while we were grouping outside for the operation.
我们组跟老讲，你就行业嘛。
They escaped. The big boss never to be seen again.
然后1点左右，我就外面就听到喊，这里当地警察，就让他出来排队啊，也流了泪，然后就感觉很感动，就是说感谢你再待里面的话就不懂，到时候就是有什么发生，是吧？
Hundreds of foreign workers, Chinese, Filipinos, Vietnamese, Malaysians, Indonesians, all living in cramped dorm-style housing. Workers had no freedom to leave the premises. It's all confiscated, their passports and IDs. Workers had no freedom to leave the premises. And the guards patrolled, the cameras monitored, and workers were essentially trapped. Multiple companies tied to online gaming, but many workers were not engaged in legal work. Instead, they were pushed into quotas, scamming, and other forms of forced labor. This was industrial scale exploitation. Imagine a mayor, a public official orchestrating or at least benefiting from an operation that treats humans as commodities, which explains how someone unknown could suddenly win the mayoral seat.
She also presented a birth certificate identifying her father as Filipino, her mother as Filipino, having a date of marriage. So to our great surprise, we found out that not only were her parents never married, but there is also no record of them.
Muna namin makilala si Alice Go, yun nga. Siguro mga, kasi 12, parang tingin ko 12 taon pa lang siya noon eh.
Nung tumakbong mayor si Alice at ako ay Sangguniang Bayan member, noong 2022. Ang ginawa naming pangangampan sa kanya, dahil hindi pa masyado kilala dito sa Alice, ilan pa lang may kakilala sa kanya. Ang ginawa namin, 3 months before, lumalabas na siya, tuwing umaga, naglalakad, parang house to house, nagdadala kami ng mga lugaw. Ang pagkakita ko doon sa helicopter, nung proclamation rally namin noon, siyempre, nagkagulo yung mga tao dahil hindi nila kung sinong nakasakay. Nung nakita nila si Alice, hiyawan na yung si Alice palang nakasakay doon sa
Maraming salamat po sa suporta ninyo sa buong team po ni Alice Go. Gusto ko po sabihin sa inyo, mahal na mahal ko po kayo lahat.
Masaya dahil nakasama namin si Alice. At least magbabago na naman ang Bamban. May bagong leader na tutulong sa bayan namin.
Bawi po ako sa inyo sa victory party. Sa victory party, babawi ako.
And now the local residents and journalists were in disbelief. Many told reporters, "We had no idea this was happening. Alice was unknown to us, and suddenly she was the mayor while running this operation behind the scenes." And after the raid, the case immediately drew national attention. So Senator Riza Ontiveros became a key figure pushing for Senate hearings to investigate labor violations and human trafficking. DOJ, DILG, Ombudsman, and NBI all launched coordinated investigations. A quo warranto petition was filed, challenging her eligibility to hold office due to fake identity and fraudulent citizenship.
Just one last time on this very simple, fundamental question. Ikaw ba si Guo Huaping?
Madam Chair, hindi ko po kino-confirm at may kaso na po sa akin sinampa. Sasagutin ko po sa korte po.
Abuse and disrespect to our system of laws must stop. Kailangan nang itigil ang panggulo nito sa ating lipunan at paglalakastangan sa ating bansa. Effective today, all POGOs are banned.
And at this point, it was no longer a political scandal. It was a national-level criminal investigation involving multiple government agencies. Something Filipinos hadn't seen in a long time. A mayor being investigated for fraud, trafficking, and abuse. The evidence in Bamban showed workers forced to meet quotas, threats and restricted freedom, operations tied to online scams. And the charge, qualified human trafficking, not just illegal gambling. Alice's defense tried to argue that she wasn't directly involved, but the evidence tied her to the companies, to the finances, and the operational structure. So last June 2025, court declared her not a Filipino, meaning her mayoral term is void. Her legal team fought it, but she remained quiet publicly, avoiding media exposure. Eventually, she fled the country, arrested in Indonesia, September 2024, and deported back to the Philippines.
The claim of Bamban Tarlac Mayor Alice Go that she's a Filipino shattered after the National Bureau of Investigation confirmed that her fingerprint is the same as Chinese national Go Huaping.
Based on government records, Go Huaping is a Chinese national who entered the Philippines on January 12, 2003, when she was 13 years old.
To a third hearing, But she did not attend, and then she was no longer available in Bamban.
Dismissed Bamban Mayor Alice Go, otherwise known as Chinese national Go Huaping, left the Philippines in July.
Who allowed this travesty to happen?
Complete outrage and disbelief that she had managed to escape, that she had managed to go past our borders. President Marcos ordering a manhunt for her.
After weeks of search, dismissed Bamban Tarlac Mayor Alice Go arrested in Indonesia.
Let this serve as a warning to those who attempt to evade justice. The arm of the law is long, and it will reach you.
After she was sent back to the Philippines, she was charged with human trafficking and money laundering. She denied everything.
This is very interesting, you know. And last November 2025, Alice Go was formally found guilty of qualified human trafficking. And the sentence? Life imprisonment. She's gonna die there. Fines and forfeiture of properties tied to her operations. This case sent shock waves across the country. Proof that even people in power can be held accountable if evidence is clear. So what do Filipinos think? They'd be thinking of like, how did someone like this slip through the system? If this happened once, what else could be happening? Who else is sitting in office they shouldn't be? This isn't about language, accent, or nationality anymore. It's about the governance, the money, and accountability. Because right now, Filipinos are realizing that even a mayor can exploit the system. But with vigilance, whistleblowers, and proper investigations, justice can be served. This story is a reminder that the truth, accountability, and vigilance matter. If you value this kind of commentary, fact-based stories, and deep dives like this, make sure to subscribe to Didn't Know Everything. Drop a comment below on what you want to cover next. This is Dia, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.